Hello, my name is John, and in today's video I'm going to walk you through the process of using Kadence elements to replace the header and also the footer on your website. So before we get started, you will need the Kadence Pro add-on, and what we'll do is we need to jump into our dashboard, and underneath Appearance and Kadence, you're going to want to make sure that you have the hooked elements turned on. Now you will notice that I do have the conditional headers also turned on. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Conditional headers let you do a lot of additional functionality inside the customizer. I'm probably going to need to make a whole entire other video for how this works. So we're not going to be using the conditional headers from Kadence in this particular video, but we will be using the hooked elements to create a new element and then replace our header and also our footer. So before we go too much further, I do want to talk about the built-in customizer that is available in WordPress for your themes. So if we go into the customizer and click on header, you get this 3-level builder here that lets you do your desktop edits, and then also you can have like a different view for your mobile. And I would tell you to, at least from the header standpoint, spend some time learning about this, because you can actually do a heck of a lot inside of this without having to go through the process of creating an element. And the benefit of that is a lot of the styling that goes into this folds down into mobile seamlessly, and you may be able to save yourself some time rather than creating an entire element. So definitely play with this, but that's not what we're here to do today. So let's jump out of this, and we are going to go back to the hooked elements. So if we take a look at our site, our current header is just a single row where we have our logo, and then we've got some navigation over here. So from a header standpoint, I will say that I don't typically find a lot of need or use for swapping this out with an element, but from the footer is something that I want to replace almost every single time that I work on a website. So again, both of these work super similarly, so I will go ahead and start by showing you the header, and then I will show you the footer as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into the dashboard, and after you activate the hooked elements, you will see underneath Appearance, underneath Kadence, you now have these elements. So I'm going to jump into here, and right now our elements are blank. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new element. And I'm going to create this as a content section. And now that I've created this as a content section, this is very similar to anything else that you've worked with in Kadence. I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to call it the site-wide header. And now we have access to do everything that we would normally do as far as building out a header. So let's say that I added a row layout here, and I wanted to make it, we'll just go ahead and make it 3 columns wide. And I'm going to start by putting a image so that I can add my logo. What did I click? I think I misclicked. Yep, I misclicked. Let's delete that. Let's try that again. There we go. That's the one. All right, so here's my logo. And I want that to be, well, I'm going to just make it a specific size. I'm going to just say that I want it 75. I don't want any text next to it. And then over here, I'm going to add some navigation. And these are a lot of additional pages that I'm really not looking to add. So I'm going to edit this page list, and I will remove some of these. Obviously some testing that I was doing for some other things. We'll leave those. Let's drag home up here. Cart, checkout, my account, shop. Perfect. That looks good. And then maybe in the center we want to add some sort of just a paragraph title here. All right, so we'll just quickly center this text. There we go. All right, so if I publish this and I open this up, so here we go. This is my super fancy header here, but we can take this a step further and we can come into here, go to our row, add some styling here, a lot of background color. And then let's add a little border to the bottom. 2 pixel. But we don't want it everywhere. We actually only want this on the bottom. There we go. All right. So now that I have that, well, maybe what I also want to do is maybe I want like an additional row at the top, and I'm just going to quickly give this a slightly different background color. I'm going to lower this padding, and I'm just going to add a button to this particular one. So actually, if I'm going to add a button, I'm probably going to need a little bit of padding. Good call. There we go. Wonderful. And let's just reorder these so that this one is above. Okay, so now that I've created that, let's take a look at what our header is going to look like. So now that we have this header already created, this element, we can go over to the Kadence button up top here, and we can decide what and where we want this to go. So for this content section, we are going to, as you can see, you can add this several different places on your site, before the site wrapper, before the header, after the header, etc. So if you wanted to create an element and wedge it in without replacing your header, you can do that. You can actually have this just stack. If you wanted to, maybe for a time you wanted a call to action to sign up for a newsletter, let's say, you can kind of put that above your existing header for a short time, like maybe for a Black Friday sale or something along those lines. But what you can also do is use the replace header option, and in this particular instance, it's actually going to replace the entire header. So now that we've chosen this for our element type and our placement, we need to say where we want that to show on our site. So under the display settings, I'm going to go ahead and mark this as entire site. But as you can see, you could choose in individual, like the search section, or maybe just the blog. So if there's something that you wanted to do to kind of have a different header for different portions of your site, you can absolutely do that. You can create extra elements and have some show up in one location and then some show up in others. And you can even have some sections of your site that just go ahead and use the default. So for us, we're going to have this be on our entire site. And who gets to see it? It's visible to all users. And we can't even go, again, a step further if we wanted to make it so that it was only desktop or only for mobile. So we have a lot of options here as to how and where we want to set it. We're going to go ahead and leave it pretty basic for now. Replace the header on the entire site and for all users. So if I hit update, and now if we go and visit the site, you can see our other header is now gone and our new header has been replaced here. So as I said, this is something that I typically don't do a heck of a lot of anymore because the customizer is so flexible and can do so many things for us. But I do find myself adding new footers constantly, almost every single site. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick. So I'll just add a quick row layout here. And again, I might do something along the lines of a 3-row layout. So what am I going to do here? I'm probably going to add something along the lines of a header. And then over here, we may even add a Google map to our location, and then whatever the heck else we want right over here. So this again could be kind of a shortened version of that navigation, and I believe we can tell it that we want it to be vertical instead. So if we were going to do that, we might drop another header on here. So now that we have that, we might want to do a little bit of styling here for this row. We'll just go ahead and give it a top border. Solid. A couple of pixels like that. And again, once we've created the design that we're looking for, we can go into the settings, and under placement, if we do a search for footer, we can go ahead and replace the entire footer. And our options again are the same. So we're going to show this on the entire site, and we're going to show this to all users. Let's hit publish, and now let's go take a look at our site. So here you go. Here is our header, and also our new footer should be right down here. So as you can see, swapping out the headers and the footers using Kadence Elements is pretty simple. You should be able to cover anything that you're trying to do for yourself or for your clients' projects. Before you head out, if you wouldn't mind, take a second, hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And until then, I look forward to seeing the next video. Thanks.